Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel, and I want to welcome everybody to Vlogmas in July 2021. This is kind of a working vacation, so I want to say hello from the Thomasville Rose Garden in Thomasville, Georgia. Today I want to introduce our Throwback Thursday videos. Since today is a Thursday, all of our Thursday videos are going to be throwbacks for this month. So my first video that I'm going to share is a Quilt-As-You-Go video. It is for string piecing on a batting and backing foundation. So away we go. Enjoy Vlogmas in July, and I'll see you next time. Bye! The Quilt-As-You-Go block is really neat because all of the 3 layers are together in this small part. So here you see the top, and then the batting is already in the middle, and the backing you can see the hopefully you can see the stitching lines on the back. For this one, for all of the blocks, I decided to use a matching thread color, so hopefully you can see it without actually being able to see it. Alright, let's talk about the fabrics. This is going to be a quilt for my new baby niece, Della. And so we're going to really focus on the pinks. What happened was when we went down to see the baby, her mom had the strips from that they used to decorate the bassinet. And so we used some of those strips, like this pink and white polka dot was one that she gave me. And then this one was one that was in her little box and stuff. And so what I've done is I went to a local quilt shop and I got scraps from there, and then I went to another shop and they had these little grab bags, and I've already pulled the pink out of it, but this was a bag and it just had the remnants from the yardage, whatever they had left over on the bolt, and then they put it in a little baggie, and this was $5, so I bought a few of those. And I filled up a couple bags at another shop for $2. Check your quilt shop because there may be a way to get scraps super inexpensively. Okay. These were some of their clearance fabrics too. And since they had the pink, I just went with it. Okay. This is just a few examples of the scraps. And if you look at all the blocks, they all have different scraps. I also did a few other things with some parts that I found in my scrap bags. Here is an example of one thing that you can do. This was a, I guess like a panel in a smaller quilt, or in a fabric bag that I saw. And what I did was I cut it, and then I just put strips on all 4 sides, so you can see that. And if I turn it over, I hope that you can see the quilting. I just did some circles around the flower, and then when I added the strips on, that finished it out. I've done the same thing here with this one, except it's just the circles. Okay, so but I just used the whole flower pretty much instead of fussy cutting it. And I don't know how well you can see this because it matches the thread, but you can see I put 3 circles. And so if you have just panels like this, you could just do a whole quilt out of things like this. Also, one thing that I found in one of my scrap bags was this unit, the one that's outlined in red. That was the original unit, and I just added some pieces along the side. The last one that we found was this half square triangle unit was already together in the scraps, and all I did was I sashed it log cabin style. So you see 2 lights here where the pink is, and then where the white is there are 2 dark strips. And this one I've already joined with another piece, so after I'm done with the quilt, I'm going to join all of the units like this and then sash them in rows, and then the quilt will be done because I won't have to do any more quilting. Okay. All of those are just examples. This, however, is a sample of the block that we're going to do today. Alright, so let's get started. To make these blocks, you of course need to have your backing fabric, and this is the backing fabric that I use for my busybody quilt. And you need to have thread that matches this fabric, okay? So I'm using this variegated yellow and orange for that. Okay, and I've already cut this to a certain measurement. Decide what measurement you want your finished block to be, and I would cut these a little bigger. So I want my finish to be 8 inches, but I've cut these squares to 9 inches. So I have my backing fabric. I'm going to place this right side down. Okay, then I have my batting. This is leftover batting that I just cut into squares at 9 inches. All right, so this is warm and natural, and check your batting to be sure that if it has a right side and wrong side. This has a right side, and the right side should go up. So, and then you're going to place that on top of your backing fabric. Okay, from here it's super simple. You're going to start with a strip. I'm going to start at the diagonal. So I'm just going to take a strip of fabric and I'm going to place it diagonally from corner to corner. It does need to be a little bit longer than the fabric. You are going to cut these down, but it does need to be a little bit longer. Okay. Then you take any other strip. Here's just another strip. Place it right sides together on here. And this may not be long enough, but it'll work for right now for the demonstration. And then all I do here is I'm just going to pin it where I would sew it. It does not matter because the fabric is going to move anyway, and everything's going to move around, but don't worry too much about it. So what you'll do is you're going to pin this. I usually put about 3 or 4 pins. This is the only time I'm going to pin for the first one. All the rest of them, I just add on. Okay. And then you're just going to sew a 1/4 inch seam from on the right side of that. Okay. After you've done that, you'll get a piece that looks like this. Okay. So here you see that I have a center piece and a piece sewn, and here's the stitch line. I did use gray thread on the top, but on this one I have an error. I forgot to change the thread. It doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it. But every other thread I did remember after this, so every other thread is going to be yellow. And so all I do here is finger press out, and then I would look for another strip to join on this side. Doesn't matter. You can do all of this side first, and then all of this side. It doesn't matter. But here's just an example. I won't stitch this one down at all. But then you would put another one here. And again, I didn't pin. I just took it to the sewing machine. After you do that, you'll have a piece that looks like this. Okay. So once I fold this out, you're going to see that there are 3 pieces here. This is our center piece. This was the first piece I sewed on. And then the second one. I varied the width of my strips, so they went from like 2.5 all the way down to 1.5 inches wide. And so some of them will be very narrow, some of them will be very wide. It's just going to add a lot of variety on my quilt. All right, so from here, you'll add another one to either side, whatever side you want to, and then you'll get something that looks kind of like this. That extra batting. Okay. And so this one has 4 strips on it. And so here's where I started. And then just going out, I try to go out alternating. But again, do whatever feels comfortable for you. And then you'll add another one and so on. Here's the next one that I've done. It has 5 pieces. Okay? So here you see the center and then 2 on either side. Take note, some of these strips are very wide, so this block is going to look different from the other blocks, but that's really what I want, okay? Now, for the next block, I went ahead and finished it out, and so, of course, this looks a little silly right now, but no worries because I am going to cut it down, all right? Here you have, I've used a wide variety of strips. Even this super skinny one right here does not matter. It's just going to look super cute within that. All right, so after this, what you would do is give it a press on both sides before you stitch it to cut it down. what I'm using is this is a 15-inch square ruler. Of course, you could use a smaller square ruler if you have it, but this is the one that I happen to have, and so it'll be fine. This ruler actually has a 45-degree line here in the center, and so this is what I'm going to be using to help cut down my square. I'm going to cut it on all 4 sides. So the first thing I like to do is find the 8 3/4 marks. So I'm going to cut the first cut 8 3/4, and I've lined up. I'm just going to line up, just choose one spot to line it up. So I'm going to line it up here and then here. Okay, with that, making sure that 45-degree line is coming at that corner. Okay, so then I'm going to take my rotary cutter and cut on these 2 sides. Alright, then I'm going to flip the block over, and now I'm going to line up the 8 1/2 mark. Alright, so it's right here. Give it a nice firm press, and here I'll cut the other 2 sides. Okay. And here we have it. This is our completed block. It looks very different from what we just had that looks so messy, but these are going to be perfect as we get ready to put them in our quilt. Okay, so let me give you an example of one layout that you could do. And I would encourage you, if you're working on Quilt-As-You-Go, please leave some comments, leave some pictures so that we can all see and check it out. These are just some examples of what you could do. What I'm going to be doing is taking all of these and kind of doing a zigzag pattern. Okay, so, and again, with this you can see a lot of the blocks. I'm going to put this flower in the center just for as an example. This won't be what actually happens in the quilt probably. Okay, and then 2, 3. And then I'm going to have the second row go a different way. Okay. And the third row. And so even though it's just strips, you can really create some cool designs. Okay. I'm just looking for something different. Okay. Alright, so that's just an example of what you can do with your blocks. I'm going to be putting them all together after I get everything finished in a quilt. If you have questions, please leave them below. And as always, thumbs up if you like it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.